because I've also showed you the mishaps. We also just looked like, this is what extensions look like that don't have a custom root. This is what extensions look like that just have a root just painted on with a line of demarcation. This is what not enough extensions look like. This is what mismatched textures look like. Like, there's all these things that go on throughout the industry that are taught or not taught. And when you come to my class, you're getting it all. There's nothing left up to you. Hi, I'm Jennifer Janish, owner of Adored Salon and Adored Signature Hand-Tied Hair Extensions. I'm obsessed with curly hair. I cut it, style it, and extend it, and this podcast is all about my curly girl obsessions that stretch far beyond just curly hair. Hey there, it's me, Jennifer, from the Curly Girls Obsessions, which you are listening to now. Jennifer behind the chair, Jennifer, Adored Hair Extension owner, Adored Salon owner, and educator. Today, we are going to be talking with Amanda from Vermont, who has taken my 3-day install class, and she's going to tell us the pros and the cons and all the stuff of how it went down, or kind of, right?
Yeah.
First, tell them what you think. Now she's going to tell you her honest opinion, even though I'm sitting here.
Yes. So much information. I have no experience with extensions before this class. It's a lot of information. This is probably the first class I've taken in a long time that really addresses the ins and outs and all the things about the whole process in such depth, and just really makes it click for you in your brain. Yeah.
We do go over a lot, and before we started class, Amanda kept asking me if we could go out to dinner, and I'm like, God, Amanda, I don't know if I could talk anymore after a day in this class. And I think you realized, like, you were like, I'm so glad I'm going home and just going to bed because I absorbed so much information.
It's a lot. I've never felt so exhausted after a day, each day, every day. Yes.
And you said too, like, this should be a 5-day class.
Yes.
It should be I agree. I wish it could, because, 3 days is a long time for an extension class. For those of you that are not hairstylists or that are hairstylists that haven't taken an average extension class, most extension class lasts 4 to 6 hours, and they go over multiple different methods like hand-tied, K-tips, tape-ins, all the things, or it's 4 to 6 hours and they're teaching you how to do an install in 4 to 6 hours. And they're teaching you also business and everything else.
I can't imagine.
And I'm not trying to hate on them, but it's definitely not enough time. That's why my class went to 3 days, was because I sat in enough of 4 to 6 hour extension classes, leaving and then dealing with the problems that we were able to tell you guys right off the bat. Like, why is the extension here dragging over? Okay, well, you're not standing directly in front of it. Why is this? Why is that? Okay, it's this. Or at the top of the hour being like, okay, you're going to experience X, Y, and Z. Do this to combat it. Because none of that stuff was ever addressed in the other extension classes that I had taken. And it took me and Jackie years before we were like proud of our stitching and all the things that come along with experience and time inside of the class. What was one of like your biggest takeaways from the class? If you had to narrow it down, like, besides the good Chicago food.
Yeah. I guess getting in a rhythm of doing all the things, holding all of the tools and things like that. Also holding your body in a certain position, standing right in front of where you work and things like that. So, and I feel like it was reiterated a lot, so it's always like your mantra at the same time. So that was helpful too. It wasn't just a lot of information thrown at you. It's kind of like you're right there repeating it over and over, where that's a good takeaway for me. That's how I learn by doing, but I also learn by little things like that, where it's kind of like, okay, don't forget, stand in front of your work, do this, blah, blah, blah. You know, your pinky, you know, so it was just, that was really
the little
helpful.
details.
Yes, the little details.
And then how did you feel when I was like, okay, take it all out and do it again? Were you so mad at me? Well, were you just like, so done?
You know that it's necessary. I mean, for me, I feel like I just want to go home and practice again and again and again. But you do feel so intense and so concentrated on it. And I think that's another reason why it's so exhausting, because you're just so like in it. And then you're like, oh, great, we'll do it all over again.
Let's just take it all out.
So,
great.
Yeah, so it's necessary and it's good to do it over and over again. But you're like, okay.
Yeah, you're tired.
It's just a lot. It's a lot.
A lot. Something that I should have asked at the beginning was, tell us about who you are.
I live in Vermont, and I own Curly Girl Salon, and I am a curl specialist. So I specialize in just cutting curly hair. I don't have any straight hair clients, so curly hair extensions are something I was very interested in. I think my clients are going to be very interested in them. So I was very excited to learn all about it. And I'm actually glad that I'm getting the best education for curly hair extensions, because I don't know anything different. Yeah. So I feel like there's no bad habits to break or anything.
Honestly, I agree. Like, you're like, I'm just going to come in one way, and I'm going to come in hot, because like this class, like, again, all the troubleshooting and stuff, trying to remember it all. I always said, like, at the end of the day, go brain dump on a piece of paper everything, so that you don't forget, right? Yes. And you'll forget, and you'll be able to text me and ask me questions and whatever. But I agree. Like, you're not coming in with sloppy seconds, right? Like, we're starting from scratch, and you're learning. And it is cool too. Like, Caitlin, who's the other girl that'll be on here, she also does extensions, and she was like, oh, that's why that's happening. That's why that's happening, right? Yeah. How did you hear about us?
I heard from a friend of mine, yes, who does curly hair extensions.
Oh yeah, and you were going to go to that May class.
Yes.
Shit, that was almost 2 years ago.
I know.
Gosh.
So this has been building up for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been. That's cool. And when you reached out, I was super excited, because Robin's I'm like, well, a friend of Robin's is already a friend of mine, because Robin and I talk so much.
The other good thing that I should point out is the class size is super small, so it's very individualized. You feel like you get a lot of personalized attention. I felt like there are some classes that you go to and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many people in here, and you feel like I didn't really get that much out of it, because it left me asking a lot of questions. And I feel like even though it's a lot of information, it's very individualized and very concentrated on you. So you feel like you get so much out of it.
That's my intention too. I hate nothing more than dropping a couple $1,000s on a class, and then all of a sudden you're there's one hairstylist and 25 upwards to 150 people. And you're like, I'm never going to be the one called on for the question, and I'm never going to get this answered. And so the other thing too, coming off of those classes with bad habits, like what you said, and not even knowing that I had bad habits, thinking like, oh, that's just how it is, So no, that's just not like, yeah, you don't want that. What else? Oh my gosh, how, this is called the brain fart after 3 days of 9 to 10 hours of working together. Okay, so the blueprint class yesterday, the class where we did the install from start to finish, was it different than you anticipated it being? Like, I guess maybe the styling, or the obviously you knew how the extensions were going to go in, because we did that the day before. Were there any takeaways from the blueprint class that you were like, oh, that's really cool? Or
I think a lot was the way that you color the extensions. I found that super like you go the extra mile. There's no cutting corners with any of your method, I feel like. And that really shows in the end result. I think I was really blown away by how transformative it is. Like you know that there's going to be a difference, but I mean the before and after for that model for me was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I feel like it really nailed her inspo picture 100%.
And I was kind of nervous on how we were going to get there. I was in the back room like, and it's funny, you will send me photos of people and I'll be like, use this, this, and this and color it like this, right? But then when it comes down to me, I'm like, I told you guys, like I had those extensions hanging up for weeks, making sure they were the right color for this model. And probably because you saw the wide range of inspiration photos that she sent me, she probably sent me, by the time she finally came, it probably was 10, right? Because she
had a whole folder.
The model had wanted to be my model for a really long time, and things just kept coming up with classes that didn't work out with her schedule. So when this one hit, she was like, okay, this is what I want. And then this is what I want, and this is what I want, but I don't like this, and I don't like that. I love this, but I don't like that. So I was all in my head. And then finally I just made the decision to color it. And then I loved how they looked. And then when we started coloring hers, that whole perception of like, well, is your hair warm to you? Because her hair was really warm.
Yeah, color is so...
And she was like, well, I don't know what that means. Okay, is it golden? Well, not too much. And the after photos were really different from her, first go round. So then Jackie and I are back there and we're talking, and I'm like, I'm at a loss. I'm just at a loss. And maybe because I just was like, I've been doing that. Jackie's like, I really think this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, perfect. And then it all came together. But yeah, it is, the transformation is always just so shocking when you see it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really magical how it all comes together and how you tell us about placing the wefts and the different colors and everything to really create that dimension and everything. I mean, it's pretty magical process.
Yeah, it was pretty stunning. I will try to attach a photo in here in between. I will try to edit that in so you guys can see it. All right. So any parting words? Say if you were talking to a hairstylist who's totally on the fence about taking the 3-day class, what would you, they're just like, oh, the time, the money. What would you say to them?
I would say that it is totally worth it. It is, definitely you would get return on your investment. I think the value is definitely there for what you're paying for. I think the education is well done. I've attended lots of classes where I go, oh, that was, kind of a waste of time, waste of money. And I wouldn't recommend it, but this is definitely a class that I would recommend.
So do you know the, I don't want to call it a statistic, but like the ROI on this class is that within 3.5 installs, you will have already made your money back.
That was appealing to me because I did hear that from you before. And I also loved what really kind of got me interested is the 4 quarters versus 100 pennies. It just feels like, how do you want to run your business and how do you want to manage your time? And, what type of service do you want to give people? What level of service?
So what she's referring to is there's a podcast called, I think it's 100 pennies versus 4 quarters. And how hard do you want to work as a hairstylist? Do you want to be the hairstylist that charges a penny for a haircut and you got to do 100 clients to get there? Or do you want to be the stylist that charges a quarter and it takes 4 clients to get to the same spot, right? And using cents is an easy way to make that analogy hit in your head. If you want to listen to that podcast, you can just scroll back, you'll find it, or search it up. It is probably one of the most listened to podcasts that I have because it's geared towards hairstylists who want to be within the top 2% of the industry, doing the top 2% type of service that really is like the hair doctor for the hair industry, right? We're the hair plastic surgeon. What we're creating is just as transformative.
And also the fact that it's such a quality product, and like the hair itself, like, you know, you get into it in the class and so forth, but it's just a really good quality product. So that aligns with my business model, what I would like to offer for my clients. Most people with curly hair think that, you know, extensions aren't an option for them because there aren't any good ones out there. They've been permed, they've been this, they've been that.
And they've been burned.
Yes.
So, yeah, and most, I feel like curly hair specialists too, have gone the extra mile to level it up to become that curly hair specialist. They're petrified on offering their clients something cut rate or shitty. You know,
Yep.
Nobody wants that. And that's what that dives into too, is you said, like, a more elevated experience, a better experience. Clients don't come in for the haircut. Clients don't come in for the extensions. They come in for how they feel after and how you make them feel during, right?
Right.
I mean, maybe initially they come in for the haircut, but like,
Right,
I
yeah.
mean,
That's what
it's how you
makes
keep them
them
coming
stay.
back. Yes, it is all that and everything else that you can give. And so at the end of the day, if that's your profession and that's what you want to link it as, definitely it's going to be my education, because I've also showed you the mishaps. We also just looked like, this is what extensions look like that don't have a custom root. This is what extensions look like that just have a root just painted on with a line of demarcation. This is what not enough extensions look like. This is what mismatched textures look like. Like, there's all these things that go on throughout the industry that are taught or not taught. And when you come to my class, you're getting it all. There's nothing left up to the
You've filled in
imagination.
all the holes and taken it to the next level, I think.
Thank you.
It's true.
Thank you.
It's true.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. I
You're so
appreciate your
welcome.
time.
Yeah.